Have you ever grabbed leftovers from the fridge, thinking you're making a healthy, time-saving choice? But what if some reheated foods could silently harm your body, raising your risk of cancer, digestive issues, or even brain damage? These aren't rare ingredients, they're everyday staples in your kitchen. Today, we're revealing 5 common foods that experts warn you should never reheat, and the science behind why. This isn't about fear, it's about giving you the facts to protect your health. We'll break down the chemical changes that make these foods risky when reheated. Plus, I'll share practical tips to keep your leftovers safe and delicious. Like, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss out on health tips like these. Ready to find out what's lurking in your fridge? Let's get started. Scene 2 is up next. First up is spinach, a leafy green that's not just Popeye's favorite, but a true nutritional powerhouse. Spinach is loaded with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that support everything from your immune system to your eyesight. It's a staple in healthy diets around the world, and for good reason. But when it comes to leftovers, spinach can be surprisingly risky if you're not careful. Fresh spinach is fantastic in salads, sandwiches, and smoothies, but once you cook it and store it for later, the story changes. Many people love to prepare big batches of sautéed or steamed spinach to save time, but this habit can actually introduce some hidden dangers. Spinach naturally contains nitrates, which are completely harmless when the leaves are raw or freshly cooked. In fact, these nitrates are part of what makes spinach so good for you, helping to regulate blood pressure and improve circulation. However, after spinach sits in the fridge for a while, especially if it's not cooled quickly or stored properly, bacteria can start to convert those healthy nitrates into nitrites, a different compound altogether. The real problem comes when you reheat that leftover spinach, especially at high temperatures or in the microwave. This process can transform nitrites into nitrosamines, which are potent carcinogens. Nitrosamines have been linked to an increased risk of certain cancers, making them something you definitely want to avoid in your diet. What makes this even trickier is that you can't see, smell, or taste these harmful compounds. The spinach might look, smell, and taste perfectly normal, but the chemical changes are happening on a microscopic level. The risk is especially high for older adults, young children, and anyone with a sensitive digestive system or compromised immune health. For these groups, even small amounts of nitrosamines can have a bigger impact. Over time, repeated exposure to these compounds can damage cells throughout the body. There's even emerging research linking nitrosamines to inflammation in the brain, which may contribute to neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. So it's not just about cancer risk. Your long-term brain health could be affected too. But don't worry, this doesn't mean you need to give up on spinach altogether. Spinach is still one of the healthiest foods you can eat, as long as you handle it wisely. The best way to enjoy spinach is fresh. Toss it into salads, blend it into smoothies, or add it to sandwiches for a crisp, nutritious boost. When you eat it raw, you get all the benefits without any of the risks. If you prefer your spinach cooked, try to make only as much as you'll eat in one sitting. Cooking small batches means you won't have leftovers sitting around, reducing the chance for those chemical changes to occur. If you do end up with leftovers, cool them as quickly as possible and store them in an airtight container in the fridge. This slows down the growth of bacteria and the conversion of nitrates to nitrites. Never leave cooked spinach sitting out at room temperature, even for a short time. Bacteria multiply rapidly at room temperature, speeding up the chemical changes you want to avoid. If you must reheat spinach, do it gently on the stovetop over low heat. Avoid using the microwave, which can heat unevenly and create hot spots that encourage nitrosamine formation. Or, better yet, skip reheating altogether. Cold-cooked spinach can be delicious in salads, wraps, or even stirred into pasta dishes for a quick, healthy meal. By eating cooked spinach cold, you completely avoid the chemical reaction that creates nitrosamines, keeping your meals both safe and nutritious. So remember, treat spinach with care, cook only what you need, store leftovers properly, and reheat gently, or enjoy them cold. These simple steps can make a big difference for your health. That way, you get all the incredible benefits of spinach, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, without any of the hidden risks. It's all about making smart choices in the kitchen. Now that you know how to handle spinach safely, let's move on to another food you probably eat every week, one with its own set of surprising risks and benefits. Potatoes, whether baked, mashed, or roasted, are the ultimate comfort food for many of us. Their warm, fluffy texture and rich, earthy flavor make them a staple at family dinners, holiday feasts, and cozy nights in. But while we savor every bite, there's a hidden danger lurking in the way we handle our leftovers. Most of us love having leftover potatoes for a quick meal the next day, but did you know that storing them improperly can actually be risky? What seems like a harmless habit could put your health in jeopardy. The real threat is a bacterium called Clostridium botulinum. This microscopic organism can grow on cooked potatoes and produce a toxin that causes a rare but potentially deadly illness known as botulism. Here's how it happens. After baking, if you wrap potatoes in aluminum foil and leave them to cool at room temperature, you're creating the perfect breeding ground for this dangerous bacterium. The foil traps moisture and limits oxygen, allowing Clostridium botulinum to thrive. Even worse, the toxin produced is completely invisible, tasteless, and odorless. It can survive if the potato is reheated unevenly, something that happens often in microwaves, which leave cold spots where bacteria can persist. Botulism is no joke. Symptoms can appear within hours and include blurred or double vision, drooping eyelids, muscle weakness, difficulty speaking or swallowing, and in severe cases, paralysis. Without prompt medical treatment, it can even be fatal. To protect yourself and your loved ones, always remove foil from baked potatoes as soon as they come out of the oven. Don't let them sit out on the counter even for a short time. Place the potatoes on a wire rack to cool quickly, allowing air to circulate and reducing the risk of bacteria multiplying. Once cooled, transfer the potatoes into airtight containers and store them in the refrigerator right away. This simple step can make all the difference in food safety. When it's time to enjoy your leftovers, skip the microwave. Instead, reheat potatoes in an oven or skillet, making sure they reach at least 185 degrees Fahrenheit, 85 degrees Celsius throughout. This temperature is high enough to destroy the botulinum toxin. Remember, microwaves heat food unevenly, leaving dangerous cold spots where bacteria can survive. It's better to be safe and use methods that heat thoroughly and evenly. Another great option is to repurpose leftover potatoes in dishes that will be cooked thoroughly, like soups, stews, or casseroles. These methods ensure every bite is safe to eat. The key to preventing botulism is simple. Break the chain that lets bacteria thrive. Cool your potatoes quickly, store them properly, and always reheat them thoroughly. These small habits can keep your meals both delicious and safe. Now let's crack open the truth about eggs and discover how to keep your kitchen even safer. Eggs are a breakfast staple in many households around the world, loved for their versatility, taste, and the quick energy they provide to start the day. Whether you like them scrambled, fried, or poached, eggs are often seen as a healthy, protein-packed option. But did you know that reheating eggs can actually turn this nutritious meal into a potential gut wrecker? When you first cook eggs, the heat causes their proteins to change structure, a process called denaturation. This makes the proteins easier for your body to digest and absorb, which is one reason eggs are such a great source of nutrition. However, when you reheat eggs, especially using a microwave, the proteins undergo even more changes. This extra round of heating can make the proteins tough, rubbery, and much harder for your digestive system to break down. The result? You might experience bloating, cramping, or even inflammation in your gut, particularly if you already have a sensitive stomach or digestive issues. These uncomfortable symptoms can range from mild to severe, and for some people, they can make eating reheated eggs a truly unpleasant experience. It's not just about feeling full or gassy. Your body is actually struggling to process the altered proteins. But the risks don't stop at digestion. Reheating eggs also causes the cholesterol within them to oxidize. Oxidized cholesterol is much more harmful than the cholesterol found in freshly cooked eggs, as it can contribute to the buildup of plaque in your arteries, raising your risk of heart disease over time. In addition, the reheating process generates free radicals, unstable molecules that can damage your cells. Over time, this cellular damage may increase your risk of developing neurodegenerative diseases, such as Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, making the simple act of reheating eggs a bigger health concern than most people realize. The microwave is the worst offender when it comes to these harmful changes. Because it heats food unevenly and often at very high temperatures, it intensifies the breakdown of proteins and the oxidation of cholesterol, making reheated eggs even less healthy. So, what's the safest way to enjoy eggs? The best approach is to cook only as much as you plan to eat right away. Freshly cooked eggs are always the healthiest and easiest for your body to digest. If you do end up with leftovers, consider eating them cold. Hard-boiled eggs make a convenient protein-rich snack, and leftover scrambled eggs can be tossed into salads or wraps for a quick meal without the need for reheating. If you absolutely must reheat your eggs, do so gently on the stovetop over low heat. This method helps minimize the damage to proteins and cholesterol, keeping your meal as healthy as possible. Try to avoid the microwave whenever possible. By taking a little extra care, you can keep your eggs both delicious and easy to digest, protecting your gut and your heart in the process. Now that you know the hidden risks of reheating eggs, let's move on to another popular protein, chicken, and see what happens when it's reheated. Chicken is a lean protein favorite, but reheating it can turn it into a digestive nightmare. Like eggs, chicken's proteins become harder to digest when reheated, especially at high temperatures. This can cause bloating, gas, and stomach pain, especially for those with sensitive guts. High heat reheating also creates advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, compounds that accelerate aging and fuel inflammation. AGEs damage tissues, stiffen blood vessels, and are linked to chronic diseases like diabetes and Alzheimer's. Microwaving or pan-searing leftovers at high heat increases these risks. To stay safe, slice chicken thin and warm it gently in a skillet or oven with a splash of broth. Better yet, enjoy leftover chicken cold. Add it to salads, wraps, or make a chicken salad. The key: avoid high heat and opt for gentle warming or cold dishes to keep chicken healthy. Finally, let's look at a food that's often overlooked: mushrooms. Mushrooms are delicious and nutritious, but reheating them can cause trouble. Their delicate proteins and enzymes break down quickly after cooking, especially if stored improperly. Reheating accelerates this breakdown, creating compounds that can irritate your digestive system. Many people experience stomach pain or heaviness after eating reheated mushrooms. The process also increases free radicals, fueling oxidative stress and inflammation. Mushrooms' high water content makes them prone to bacterial growth if left out too long. Reheating won't remove toxins produced by bacteria and can worsen the breakdown of nutrients. The best approach: cook only what you'll eat, and if you have leftovers, eat them cold in salads or grain bowls. If you must reheat, do it gently on the stovetop, never in the microwave. Treat mushrooms with care to avoid digestive distress and keep their health benefits intact. Let's wrap up with some final thoughts. Thanks for joining me to uncover the hidden risks of reheating common foods. Remember, it's not about fearing leftovers, it's about handling them smartly. What surprised you most? Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know how you'll use this info. Your feedback helps us build a healthier community. If you found this helpful, like, share, and subscribe for more science-backed health tips. We're here to help you make safer choices every day. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Stay healthy and safe in your kitchen.